So this is a lesson on metal alloys. Okay, so recall that solutions are homogeneous mixtures in which substances are mixed evenly throughout. And solutions can be solids, liquids, or gases. Usually we refer to a solution as a liquid, but it can also be a solid or a gas. In this case, we're going to be talking about solids. Right? For example, like stainless steel, bronze, or brass. Right now, a pure metal are elements found on the left-hand side of the periodic table. So all of these in blue are metals, pure metals. Most elements are metals. If you look at, there's a lot more metals than there are non-metals or metalloids here in pink. These metalloids share characteristics with the metals and the non-metals. Okay, so for example, some examples of pure metals include copper, silver, gold, iron, nickel, or chromium are all pure metals found here on the periodic table. Now, metals have certain characteristics that they share due to their chemical nature, right? So one of them is malleable. Malleable means that metals can be pounded easily into sheets, right? And we use that a lot for a lot of uses that we have for metals, like when we use them for coins or use them for aluminum foil, we are pounding them into sheets. Metals are also ductile. They can be drawn into wires. For example, like copper wire that we use for our electricity is drawn into wires. Some more examples of metal characteristics are most metals are shiny. So we refer to that as luster when they give off a reflection. So mirrors are actually metals. There's a glass front, but behind that glass is actually silver that's been painted, silver foil that's been painted on there, silver atoms actually behind the glass. And then there's a black paint behind that. All right, metals are good conductors of heat. They're also good conductors of electricity. Right, so when we're talking about metal alloys, what these are when two or more metals are melted down into liquid form, mixed together, and then allowed to solidify. That's when they're called metal alloys. Right, and metal alloys are homogeneous mixtures. They're not chemically combined. It's just a mixture. Okay, now we create metal alloys to improve the performance of the metals, give them more desirable characteristics. For example, iron, pure iron, rusts very easily. But we can mix iron with chromium and nickel and create stainless steel that doesn't rust. Okay, so some very common metal alloys include steel, bronze, brass, sterling silver, and the different karat golds that you find in jewelry. Okay, now bronze is an alloy made from copper and tin. It's made as early as 3000 BC for tools and weapons. Right, brass is another metal alloy made from copper, zinc, and a small amount of lead. Originally was used for coins, buttons, and lamps. Sterling silver is a metal alloy made from silver and copper. Pure silver is very soft. It wouldn't be very good for common general use. And so when you mix it with copper, it gives it a little bit more strength. Most of the jewelry that you wear that's silver is sterling silver. So some copper's been added to it to give it strength. Gold. Pure 24 karat gold is pure gold. Now, gold is actually very soft and scratches easily. And so we combine silver with it or zinc with it or copper to make it a little bit stronger. Now, that does decrease the value of it. When we're talking about the carats of gold, the higher the carat, the more pure gold is in there. And so some people spend more to get a higher carat of gold, but it is softer and will scratch more easily. Our coins are made up of metal alloys, and they've changed over the years. A coin cannot cost more to make than the actual coin is worth, and so that's caused a lot of changes throughout time in making our coins. Nickels, which used to be made up of just the nickel element, had to be changed and now contain 75% copper, 25% nickel. Dimes were originally silver. Um, they usually contained about 90% silver and 10% copper. But since they've been changed now, they're made up of copper and nickel alloys. There's no longer silver in the dimes. Quarters, prior to 1965, quarters were 90% silver and 10% copper. Now that's a lot of silver that you could melt down. Um, and so if you can find older coins before 1965, look for the eagle on them. And I think the eagle was stopped though in like 1975, so not all of them. But if you see an eagle on an old quarter, look at the date and see if it's um, you'll have a lot of silver within there. Okay, so currently the quarters are made up of 92% copper and I'm not sure how much um, nickel, but they're made up of copper and nickel. Pennies. Now pennies, they can't be worth more than a penny to make them. So they've gone through a lot of changes over time. They began as pure copper, the copper penny, but they were changed to bronze and then changed to nickel and copper. Right now, in 1864, the penny was changed back to bronze and remained that way until 1982. And so you can still find pennies around that were um, made of bronze, right? And today, though, the later pennies, and you see that they're more shiny and stuff. That's because of the zinc that's in it, 97.5% zinc. Zinc is like a silvery metal, right? And it's only plated with copper. Okay, so for the I can statements, list 5 characteristics of metal. Well, they're ductile, they can be drawn into wires, they're malleable, they can be pounded into sheets, they're good conductors of electricity, they're good conductors of heat, and they also have luster, they're shiny. Okay, explain how and why metal alloys are made. Well, they're made by combining 2 or more different metals, melting them down, and allowing them to solidify. Why are they made? And they're made to give pure metals more desirable characteristics. Okay, and then list several common types of metal alloys. There's sterling silver, there's steel, bronze, brass, right? And different carats golds. So there's several examples you could use. Right, so that's the end of this presentation.